Meiosis was previously arrested by cGMP, but now the lowering of cGMP allows the oocyte to resume its first meiotic division. This does not form two complete cells, however, because only one cell, the secondary oocyte, gets all the cytoplasm. The other cell formed at this time becomes a small polar body, which eventually fragments and disappears. This unequal division of cytoplasm ensures that the ovum will be large enough to become a viable embryo should fertilization occur. The secondary oocyte enters the second meiotic division, but meiosis is again arrested, this time at metaphase 2. The second meiotic division is completed only by an oocyte that has been ovulated and then fertilized. Ovulation. Approximately 10 to 14 days after previous menstruation, a single follicle matures and will ultimately rupture and release the secondary oocyte into the uterine tube. This is ovulation. If it's fertilized, the secondary oocyte completes meiosis 2, uneven division, one is much smaller and one is huge. The remaining follicle becomes corpus luteum, which secretes estradiol and progesterone. If the oocyte is not fertilized, it will degenerate in a couple days. LH stimulates ovulation, and this influences an empty follicle to convert to corpus luteum, which secretes estradiol and progesterone, and ovarian follicles only secrete estradiol. Toward the end of an infertile cycle, the corpus luteum decreases its secretion of steroids about 10 days after ovulation and regresses to become a non-functional corpus albicans. The withdrawal of ovarian steroids with the death of the corpus luteum causes the sloughing of the endometrium, and this is menstruation. For the development of an oogonium to a zygote, this is called oogenesis. During meiosis, each primary oocyte produces a single haploid secondary oocyte and a polar body. If this gamete is fertilized, it forms a second polar body and a nucleus that fuses with that of the spermatozoon to become a zygote. So I'm just going to read the stages, but first we begin with an oogonium, which then turns into a primary oocyte. After the first meiotic division, the second meiotic division just starts, and this primary oocyte becomes a secondary oocyte. The primary and oogonium had 46 chromosomes, and now the secondary oocyte has 23 chromosomes, and there is a first polar body that is generated. It will eventually degenerate, though. Meiosis is arrested at metaphase 2, and when ovulation occurs, I hate this shit. If fertilized, the secondary oocyte will complete meiosis 2. The secondary oocyte also has 23 chromes. I already said that. And when ovulation begins, if no fertilization occurs, the secondary oocyte will disintegrate. If fertilization does occur, the spermatozoon fertilizes the secondary oocyte, and the second meiotic division is completed. After that, a zygote is formed, and the second polar body will degenerate. Which hormones are important for regulating the ovarian cycle? GnRH releases FSH and LH, and estrogen acts to prevent these follicles from atresia, aka degeneration. LH stimulates ovulation, which influences an empty follicle to convert to a corpus luteum, which secretes estradiol and progesterone. Toward the end of a non-fertile cycle, the corpus luteum regresses to become a non-functional corpus albicans. FSH allows follicles to grow and develop, and also stimulates increased amounts of aromatase and granulosa cells so that the ovaries secrete increasing amounts of estradiol into the blood as the follicles grow under FSH stimulation. Be familiar with the menstrual cycle, focusing on both the ovaries and uterus. So the duration of the menstrual cycle is typically 28 days. The first day of menstruation is considered day 1, and the cycle is divided into phases based on changes that occur in the ovary and in the endometrium. In the ovaries, you have beginning the follicular